benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Derek Pearson, brought to you by Canopy Street Market.
Thursday morning food. It is gorgeous. Welcome to a gorgeous Thursday in Lincoln, Nebraska. Well done. Well done, Mother Nature. You paint a pretty picture. Yes, you do. 402-464-5685 is the Start the Haven text line. There we go. Look at Bach in mid rally, scrambling. Scramble, Bach. Get back to the core. Dominate the net, Bach. Let's go. You can follow on all the live video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo Channel 961, the Ticket app, and Amazon Prime. It is an honor, a joy, a pleasure. And we will do this. Special guest in the house. He's family now, so he can't get away. We claim him. But Bach, kind sir, before we introduce our guest today, pay the bills, sir. Pay the bills.
Yes, today's show is sponsored by Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest quality technology and communication services since 1901. Whether it's residential or business, Hamilton has the answers. Visit hamiltontel.com for more info today.
Thank you, kind sir. Bach, I'm also going to task you. I'll send you the song from the musical Hamilton. That whenever we do that read, we need to play the chorus of them just screaming out Hamilton.
I think that could be effective.
we need to just do that. Let's bring him in. Head tennis coach, Huskers, Peter Kobelt. Coach, good morning to you. What's happening?
What's up, DP? What's up, Bach? How we doing?
Look at Bach. Bach, what are you wearing today?
A Husker sweatshirt.
Okay.
it's a little old.
No, but it's that time, right? That Bach has transitioned from his little brother's t-shirts to hoodies.
Like it's getting cold out, yeah.
He's transitioned from trying to flex on us tonight. Well done. Coach, busy times in sports, busy times on campus, busy times with your young men. And then in the building in which you reside, there's a tennis event going on.
There is, yeah.
Explain to folks what's happening at the Dillon Tennis Center.
Yeah, there's a women's professional tennis tournament going on. You have some of the best talent in this part of the country and in the world coming to Lincoln to compete for some ATP points right here in Lincoln. So if you have some time, it's a great event. It's free. You can come by. The schedules are online. The ITF website, you can find the schedules there. But come by anytime. I think matches will go until about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, and come and watch some tennis played at a really high level.
Yeah, I'm going to pop in this afternoon a bit and say hello to Herman and crew.
There you go.
And have you gotten into the much requests for tennis lessons?
Some. There's, for me, I'm obviously super busy with the team and everything that comes with being a head coach here. But I opened up a sports club, so anyone that lives within 50 miles can technically join the sports club and take a lesson from me or anyone on our staff, which is great. I think that's how you kind of build things here. Obviously, I don't have enough time to give everyone a tennis lesson in town, but so I try and focus more on the players that are very serious about tennis and really want to get dig into it and dive into it a bit more. So that just started about 6 months ago. So trying to build it up a little bit more over the holidays. Now it's starting to slow down a little bit for us. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. So starting to maybe do a little bit of that, interacting with the community a little bit more, and then get ready for the season in January.
What say you, a parent out there that has tennis player that is interested and intrigued and motivated enough to say, "Hey, mom, dad, I want to get better." Is that who's reaching out to you? Is that kind of the ideal situation to say, "Hey, listen, let's help build it that way"?
Yeah, a lot of times, or if there's a lot of the coaches here in town be like, hey, this kid's pretty good. I think you should take a look at him. Maybe there's something here that you can help him with that we can't help him with. So there's a little bit of that, and then every now and then you run into this kid that just loves it and wants it, and the parents are looking to do more for him. So there's a few cases of both, but you get a combination, and then you try and bring everyone together and see if there's something we can help them with.
What do we say? Is that a way to maybe engage some of your young men in an NIL fashion to have those hit arounds where maybe it's just an hour of hitting balls and talking to these athletes? Is that a thing that can be done or should be done?
It can, I believe, it can be done for American student athletes. The international piece, there's still the visa requirement where you can't do anything in person here in the United States for an NIL deal. So I'm still learning exactly what all that means, what we can and can't do with our student athletes, but we're working on it. And I think as we learn more and how things are still changing and evolving in that space, I think hopefully in the near future there'll be more updates and things that we can and we can't do still. So
let me ask you, Coach. Let's remove the coach title if for as much as we can.
All right.
In a public conversation. What are your thoughts on the limitations put on international student athletes? Is there a way? Is there a sound way, a simple way to simplify this process and those agreements? Is there a need for it? I could be wrong in saying there may not be a need for it, but in my mind, there should be some allowances and a simple balance of allowing those young people to thrive in the environments they're in.
Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, for all this to change, they would need to come over on a different visa. They would need to come over on some kind of work visa, and then for that to happen, they would have to go from student athletes to employees. So probably collective bargaining at some point,
or consultant,
or it's I haven't looked too much. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole too far. We have great resources at the university, and that's what they do. They think about all that stuff all the time, and they kind of report back to us. But yeah, I mean, they come in on student visas, and while you're a student, you can't work for anything while you're here. You can't earn an income while you're on a student visa. So that's the biggest holdup for all the international student athletes. I think they're still getting a great deal. They still get an education. They still get to play tennis. They get all the everything else that you can get, all the other resources that you can benefit from here or anywhere else. You still get all that. You just can't, work. So I think in the future, will this stuff change? I think, that might have to go, to different levels of the government and Congress and all that stuff. I'm not a politician by any means. But I think having to work out some kind of deal or work with the higher ups, between the college sports, the NCAA and in Congress to figure something out. But for now, that's kind of the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, because that age limit thing doesn't work in tennis because you can be a pro and be paid, and that money is generally put in trust of some sort, which is another way to handle some of this sort of thing. It also, Bach and I sit here on a day-to-day basis, and a lot of the conversation from fans and supporters is that, well, these guys and girls are paid now. These are pro athletes. You're receiving benefit. Well, this removes that whole discussion, because if you can say that they're not that, then about any sport, then you have to say that about every sport. That you can't say, well, now we can hold them to a different level of accountability because they're workers or they're pros.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how it's going to go from here. That's why we really rely on Mr. Dannon and Jonathan Bateman and the guys that handle that stuff. And then they, obviously they're as aggressive and at finding out the right answers as anybody I've heard, at least. So I mean, I really trust what those guys have to say. But yeah, I mean, the definition of a student athlete is definitely changing. So um and I would just say, like, things are changing, and you for us here in Nebraska, like the people, we all just got to get on board with it and do our best to support the school and everything that the school is trying to accomplish, from not just a football or volleyball standpoint, but all the programs. We're all trying to win and adapt and do it the best out of everyone else in the country.
A conversation with Husker men's head coach, men's tennis head coach Peter Kobelt, and interesting times, because I always say that no sport is an island unto itself, and it has to pay attention to all the things that happen around it in the surrounding space. In sports news, some of the stories are kind of far stretched. One, betting, gambling being a big part of the discussion, whether it be UFC, NBA, NFL, etc. And then that on the pro level extends. It is a simple, small bridge to college sports and college athletics.
Yep.
What are the conversations that you have with your players about staying as far away from gambling as possible and the people that are involved in it?
Yeah, I mean, none of the rules have changed. So there's absolutely, gambling and, fantasy leagues, all that stuff is highly off limits. And, if they know that we have, the athletic department speaks to all the student athletes at the beginning of the year. There's stuff that we do internally as a team before the year starts, letting them know, like, this is not acceptable and not tolerated. So until the rules change, that's the way it is. And will they change? I don't know. It sounds like there's a chance that at least in some way, shape, or form it could change in the future. But again, like, that's not something that I'm thinking about or worrying about very often. And Mr. Dannon and everyone in the athletic department who's going to have to deal with that if it does happen, we're more than capable of handling that if it does come up. All the resources that we have here that can navigate that space for everybody here, for sure.
I have to say publicly that I am constantly amazed by the coach's ability to be boundary setters about things that, quite frankly, may not be in their normal strength utility belt. That you're literally learning as you go, and as it evolves, you have to either be proactive in your reaction, right, in your stance, or you have to be super reactive to new rules that affect the people that are in your care, and that you're still here taking care of some people's sons.
100%.
Right? That like,
Yep.
In the end, we could talk about a lot of simple stuff, but you're committed and promised to take care of people's sons in a way that they would think is honorable and good, and then in a way that the university would think is honorable and good, and then you have to.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. So what are the voices in your head? Is this parents, coaches, other coaches? Where do you get your boundaries from? Where for you specifically?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, all the, it's not just our players, but it's our staff and it's the whole athletic department. We all have to be able to work together and trust each other, that we're all out for each other's best interests. So it's more than just a student athlete thing. But at the end of the day, like, you're having to sit down with these parents and talk to them and tell them, like, hey, like, they have to be able to trust me that I'm going to, not just make them a better tennis player, but they're going to do well in school. They're going to grow as young men and be, my goal is always to leave something better than where I found it. And that's just not from a tennis standpoint. It's the whole aspect. But I think it all started with my parents and how they raised me. They always, I always had to say please and thank you and yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And, I come from a family that was religious or is religious, not over the top or anything, but, I went to church on Sundays and I was an altar server. I did the whole church thing. And I think, you know how you grow up and the things that you learn in those ages really forms who you are as a person. So I think my parents did a great job, and I wouldn't trade my mom or my dad for anyone else's mom or dad. That's I really truly feel like that. But and then as I've gone through, the coaches that I've worked with have obviously played a big impact in my life, showing me, each coach you learn something different from, and you take different stuff from, and then just mentors. There's a few of them here at the school, that I really trust and rely on, and I know when they speak to me and communicate to me, it's with a lot of wisdom. I always say a smart guy gets himself out of a situation. A wise guy never puts himself in. So every day I go through life, I try and take that analogy and put it forward. And I obviously make mistakes, but when someone is in front of you with a lot of wisdom, I'm very observant and pay close attention for sure.
It's a big part of it. Peter Kobelt, Husker tennis. I don't know that it's that much more specific to your sport and this team and your program, but it appears to be so. That with foreign players, foreign student athletes, the recruiting process is different because there are different conversations that have to take place with the parents that are involved, right? And sometimes that's not easy to do. And then culturally, when they get here, there are things that within their home life, there are things that were so deeply ingrained, just like with your family. You went to church on Sunday and you had a belief system, and there are meals that you eat and traditions that you honor. You now bring the world with you into Lincoln, Nebraska, and those young men are really trying not to be put on an island about who they are, what they believe, and where they're from.
Sure. I mean, you when you go through the recruiting process, you kind of feel a lot of those things out, and you're like, okay, like, it's not only the student athlete, it's their family as well. I think you learn, a lot from the parents and how they do things. And, cause I believe the apple never falls too far from the tree. So that's a big deal for us. But yeah, I mean, these conversations that you have are, they're extremely important. I'm kind of, can you go over that second part of the question again? I'm blanking on it a little bit.
Because they're on an island, and
so
the things that you promise parents in their living room or on a Zoom call, and then they come here to Lincoln, Nebraska, and I can say Lincoln is diverse, but I can tell you that a lot of the cultural, religious, spiritual, nutritional things, all the habits,
sure,
and they come to you as they are. Like they're just there's like, hey, coach, there's a blind spot, or there's a hole, or there's something missing, and they have to explain all of that to you, and then you have to consume it and be aware that, oh, this is a spiritual time for him, or this is a time where he's missing out on something from home, and then you have to be kind of help fill that void for them.
Yep. So I think it works both ways in the recruiting. The family and the student athletes are obviously, or the recruits are obviously looking for a coach that maybe can help them with some of these things. And we're also looking for, the same things, just from an opposite standpoint. And that's where I think you get the that, like a marriage almost, where it really clicks. And then when they come, obviously that's why it's great to have them for 4 years. And that's why the transfer portal is so difficult, is sometimes you just don't have enough time to gel it as close as you really could, or you really can. And that's why, I still believe that, the natural recruiting process is still the healthiest, and you can make the most impact on a student athlete that way. But they all come different. They all come different with different things that they're very good at, and some things they need to improve on. And that's, that's part of the fun, is getting everyone to buy into each other and learn about each other. And, we're going through that right now as a team, and we're having some meetings, and team meetings, individual meetings, talking about how everything's going on the court, off the court with the team. And the guys we're starting to come together a little bit more now, coach. So it just takes time. And that's the hard part, is that sometimes you don't know how much time it's going to take, but if you buy into the process and you you do the things, the way we're asking them to do, which we think is the right way, then eventually, they'll get to where they need to be.
Coach, it through what we do here and a lot of the conversations that take place, I get those red flag, green flag things all the time about who coaches are as people and then who they are, how they're processing as a coach. It gives me great joy to hear you talk about the way you process for your young men. I have to say that because not all coaches get it. You do. This program is in great hands. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll have him break down what's going on with the guys and talk a little bit about the travel and the recruiting because it always evolves and some of the stories change in sports. So we have to track that. So Peter Kobelt, Bach, DP. We'll be right back.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Fall is officially here, and Brown's Shoe Fit has just the right style and comfort your feet deserve. Stop in to see a wide selection of all your favorite brands, including Brooks, Hoka, Echo, Keen, and many more. At Brown's Shoe Fit, they take the time to measure your feet to ensure proper fit. They also have the largest selection of Uggs and Hokas in Lincoln. Brown's Shoe Fit at 66th and Q. Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
This is your year, where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Cobble Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Cobble is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Koppel Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at koppelcars.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had roofing service company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see partly sunny skies. It will be breezy. The afternoon high around 65. Tonight, decreasing cloud cover, light winds, and a low around 43. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It will be breezy again. The afternoon high near 66. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to One on One with DP. Brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Peter Kobelt, men's tennis in the building. I will remind folks that when I tell you how the streams are working, that this is why we want you to download the Ticket app. This is why we want you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube and X, so that you get the programming. We do not control sunspots and the tower and that's the ideal in old school radio. But I was purposeful in giving every listener 1,438 ways to consume this product. So when it's convenient, download all those and follow all those so you have them, so that you don't miss the content when Mother Nature decides, hey, we're going to throw a party and make sure your radio airwaves are down. Now the FCC protects us, and they will work an effort to get all that working. But the Ticket app travels wherever you are. There is no boundary for it. YouTube, there's no boundary for it. You can get it wherever you are. Facebook, do that. Follow us. I make it simple. This is why we do what we do. And shout out to our tower in wonderful, amazing Firth, Nebraska. That we cannot improve the signal. We can't widen the signal, because if we widen our signal, we interrupt other people's signals. And that's not good. That's not how we do it. Coach, so much of what you do is messaging and verbiage, and sometimes the voice. You have your coach's voice. I got to hear that at a practice, that his radio voice is different than his, hey, Bach. He has that voice too. Bach has his dad voice. I heard it on a Saturday. He has his radio voice and his radio laugh. But when his son takes 2 steps out of the wrong direction, Bach has a different voice.
Yeah, you have to. You just have to.
He has a different voice. Different voices are important in coaching.
For sure.
And I had the opportunity to talk to some athletes last night from different sports, and one of them brought you up. As a matter of fact, 2 of them did. But one in particular brought up and said, I was asking them about how they pay attention to the other programs. And in some cases they do. In some cases they don't. They're in the fishbowl and they're just kind of making their way. But one of them said, you know what? I could play for that tennis guy. And the look on your face changed, because, quite frankly, a reminder that people are paying attention.
Sure.
Right? That people are paying attention, and that people of note know when somebody's authentic and legitimate. And I think that's the biggest compliment a coach can get, is that somebody else's kid will say, yeah, I could play for that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool to hear. I don't know, I don't know what sport it was, but I'm pretty good at coaching tennis. So, anything else you might want to listen to your coach. But I mean, I think coaching, that's just on the surface, your sport. But I think coaching encompasses a lot of different things. You know, there's a lot of internal stuff that are very similar from sport to sport. You know, how hard you work, how do you show up every day. A lot of it's just the controllables. And I think you got to, as a coach, you got to live it. You know, you don't always have to be out there doing it with them, but you know, the guys have to look at you and like respect, you know, what you do and how you do it every day. And I think I read something or I heard something where they said, you know, like the two strongest emotions that you can feel, everyone thinks are love or the strongest emotion you can feel is either love or fear, but it's really just being authentic. Like when you talk to someone and it's really, and you're just yourself right in front of them, I think there's like a connection that you make with people really quickly that you can't really describe. It's just like a frequency or a vibration between the two of you. And I do a lot of feeling out people that way. So I can tell when there's a real athlete standing in front of me. I can tell when there's a real coach standing in front of me. It's just a different frequency when you listen to people talk and how they talk. And so that's kind of how I sound things out as a coach. And when I talk, I think it's important that whoever I'm talking to, whether it's a student athlete of mine or an administrator or my boss, that they get that same feeling from me, because you know, I don't think you can, you know, people are too smart and really good coaches and really good administrators. They know like if you're real or not. So I always say, if I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about, because you know, then you chip away at that trust and that legitimacy thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'll stick to coaching tennis for now. I used to play a little basketball, but I'm not going out there to coach basketball. But coaching in general is kind of the same deal in any sport.
You don't have the desire to just walk over to men's basketball one day, grab a basketball, and say, "Hey, Bear K, come get some."
in my mind, right? in my mind. But you know, Coach Hoiberg's awesome. You know, he plays a little tennis, and so does his wife. So you know, he's one of the.
Do you hit with him?
I haven't hit with him yet. He has an open invitation. Coach Hoiberg, here's your weekly reminder.
Yeah,
we're here for you.
Yeah,
for you and your wife to come by and hit some balls. They stopped by at the ATP tournament not too long ago, which was cool. But yeah, I mean, I would go out there and shoot hoops with those guys, but you know, I'm not going to go back down Burkay and take it to him. Like he's probably going to, it's you know, the opposite. The opposite is probably going to happen, but
he absolutely would.
I'll go compete. I'll go compete, but I'm not in shape to kind of do that stuff anymore.
No, I think so. If we had like a coaches, all the other coaches from every other sport, and they had a 3-point shooting contest, you'd win it, right?
I think I can still shoot.
Right?
But
you'd win it.
I don't know if I'd win it. I don't know. There's a lot of, we have, I haven't been in a few months, but there's, it's either every Tuesday or Wednesday. There's the athletic department gets together and plays some pickup ball in one of the gyms. So,
stop it.
Yeah. So I went there a couple times. There's some ballers in the athletic department. I'm telling you. Telling you, there's some ballers.
No, I think a great PR is that halftime of one event, they have a coach's 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah,
for all of it, right?
Down at Pinnacle Bank,
right?
Oh boy, that first one, if that's an air ball, that would be tough to recover from.
And we do the thing with the Lincoln Salt Dogs where we'll go down and take batting practice before game with the team. Is that a thing that going forward we can lock in Peter Kobelt?
I would be up for it. Just gotta run it through the chain of command. But I used to play a little baseball back in the day. I did a little travel ball back in middle school, and I played.
Yeah.
But baseball and tennis season overlapped in Ohio, so.
Oh well, this is in the spring, late spring, summer.
So, yeah, summer's better.
Yeah, summer. Yeah, Bach, right? Because Salt Dogs they don't start until after Husker baseball ends.
Okay.
So and then they end right before football starts.
They end in like June, right? Baseball doesn't it end? Doesn't baseball end June?
Yeah, the College World Series is in June, so
July or August.
They run late. That's a long season.
And then the crossover has begun because I know that. So we're going to broadcast from women's bowling's practice next Friday. We're gonna kind of do a tour, and so we're gonna come down to one of your practices, and we'll just set up and broadcast around you what you're doing. I mean, we'll be up in the stands, and you're doing your business, and we'll have the background filter on so that those Kobelt bombs don't make the radio.
A lot of ducks at we sit next to a pond or what?
To get that in. But as a part of it, I know that some of the football players are coming to practice to bowl to see how they do. So I think that might be another thing. Maybe some of your guys come down and bowl with the girls.
I was gonna say I don't know if they want to be coming over to play any tennis. They gotta stay. We got to keep them healthy for the rest of the season. I don't know if that would be their lane. I don't know. I think our guys would be up for some bowling.
Yeah,
I think they think they're pretty good at bowling, but
we'll get with Klempa.
They're not, but I think they think they are.
Well, I'm smart enough to know not to challenge them to swim or rifle or like I know I'm not going to ask them to go out there and play soccer, right? Like we're not going to pull hammies and roll ankles. We're not doing that. But shooting threes and bowling strikes might be a thing.
There you go.
It's the crossover. I think it's fascinating that in this space, that what's happening in Nebraska athletics is a movement towards better for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to have the right coaches who have the visionary aspect. They're willing to see outside of themselves. And then 2, they have the big hearts. I think most coaches in this athletic department engage and like each other and enjoy each other. I think that's really a thing. So I'm impressed by it. What do you think Troy Dannon's vision truly is? Like in the messaging to coaches, what does he talk about most?
I'm not going to speak for Mr. Dannon. He's got one of the toughest jobs you can have here. He's responsible for everybody, and he's doing a fabulous job. But he always says every time we get together, he's like, we're gonna do, we're gonna be the leaders, and we're gonna, we want everyone to look at Nebraska and be like, we need to be doing it like Nebraska. So, he's done exactly that since he's got here. And it takes time to kind of move some pillars and do some of these things, but I think there's a lot of examples of, how he's done that. So I think it's really exciting as a head coach to have a leader like that that's willing to go to bat for not just some of the bigger sports, but also for men's tennis, and be a man of his word and really lead, as walking the walk as he's talking the talk, and I think that's really empowering the rest of the athletic department, and I think that's how you really get to do special things as a group. But I think that's the most unique thing about Nebraska. And I think you go into the training table, everybody eats together, everyone's cheering for each other. You always see other athletes and coaches at all the other sporting events. It's a big family, and it's definitely not like that everywhere else. I would almost think it might not be like that anywhere else. And I think having a leader like Troy, who can kind of be the tip of the spear there and really promote that and demand that from everyone in the department, I think is really, really unique. And it allows everybody to have a voice, and allows everybody to really empower themselves in their programs. And you get this like really special energy that I don't know if you can find anywhere else.
It's important. It's felt, it's seen, because you see his presence at events. That hasn't always been the case. So I'm pretty sure it means a lot to have that presence.
Well, he's got a tough job. I mean, he's on the CFP committee. He's doing all these things. He's the things that are going on here with all the changes in sports. And every time I look up, I just feel like we're in a really good position. Like this changes, I'm like, okay, like, he's got us in a really good position here. He's got us in a really good position there. And, it's not just him, and he'll be the first to say that. It's the whole athletic department, but he's the one that's kind of, organizing everything and making sure that everything's getting done the right way. And I'm seriously like, we're Nebraska, we're really lucky to have a guy like that here, leading the way.
And I think even in the toughness, I think he enjoys it.
100%.
I think he enjoys it.
He's a tough guy, man.
Yeah.
We'll
throw it to break. We'll come back. We'll close out Peter Kobelt. Get you ready for Adam Carricker. Bach in the black shirt. Full afternoon old school. We'll be right back.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
This is your year, where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Koppel Chevrolet GMC is proud to be the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln metros. Koppel is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. We want to say thank you to all of our customers that have helped us reach these milestones. So come see why so many customers, including myself, are choosing Koppel Chevrolet GMC for their automotive needs. Please check us out at koppelcars.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sauterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Are you
tired of your usual barbershop experience? Stop into Scissors and Scotch today. I know what you're thinking. Drink during a haircut? Don't worry. First comes the precision cut from one of their experienced barbers, followed by your complimentary cocktail in their upscale lounge. Scissors and Scotch blends your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. And now you can earn $10 off by simply mentioning the ticket. And if you're an existing member, still mention the ticket for an exclusive offer. Offer valid at Lincoln location only. Scissors and Scotch, located just south of 30th and Yankee Hill, and online at lincoln.scissorscotch.com.
You're listening to One on One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. And of course, for well, if you can hear this, you figured out that you are on the app or in one of the other devices, other ways to consume. They're doing work on the transmitter. And it should be fine somewhere within the next half hour or so. So no worries. We are aware and we are efforting. We're working on it. There are things that have to be done with the transmitter. Some are scheduled. Some are required by the FCC to maintain security and issue. It's also a tuning to make sure that, again, you're not crossing signals, crossing streams. You're not overpowering. You haven't you haven't given access to CD nefarious people, and we still have control of the tower, so we're good. It's just us working on it. It's nobody else. Coach, it is interesting times indeed, in that you see things happen in sports, and then you want to go to people who can tell you what their thinking would be and what their process is. That helps fans understand what happens behind the curtain. It helps fans understand what's happening in live moments. Tennis is unique because I can say that I don't remember many live action injuries in a match. Why is that? Is that just the sport? Is it you don't see the friction on friction injury? Sometimes it's an ankle or a tendon or something along those lines. But why is that? What is it? Just that the conditioning and the movement is so controlled and understood?
I would say that you still get, every year there's an ankle here, there's a knee there, or a hip, or you slip and fall and someone breaks their wrist. That stuff still happens in our sport. It's not as bad as other sports for sure, but you get more what our trainer likes to call it as overtraining injuries with shoulders, wrists, back. Everyone's a little bit different depending on their technique and stuff, so you can kind of work with those, and the way we do our practices, we kind of try and get what we need to get done, but also be mindful of their bodies so we don't overcompromise them, and where those things can happen. But we have, like, every now and then you'll get a sprained ankle, and that's probably the most abrupt injury that you can get while you're playing. Like, it does happen from time to time, but other than that, most of them are kind of just overuse. This has been going on for some time, or we're going to need to give it a break to kind of get it back to 100%.
What are the conversations that happen? Again, you've got several matches going on at the same time. So if you see it, you will have an immediate reaction and input. But what if you don't see it in full and the athlete is hurt? You approach the athlete. What are the priorities for you?
Yeah, you can't. For me, it's okay. Like, look, what happened? How bad is it? You can tell more or less, especially after you're around them for a long time, what their pain threshold is, and how they've handled smaller injuries beforehand. So you kind of get a feel for it a little bit there, but you kind of gotta trust. For me, I always put the trust into the medical personnel. Our athletic trainer. If there's a doctor there, you can't put a student athlete in danger's way ever. So if it's something that they could play through from an athletic standpoint or athletic treatment standpoint, and the student athlete's willing to try, then I'm like, okay, 2 check marks. Like, let's see. If not, then if you don't get those 2 check marks, then it kind of is what it is, and you kind of have to live with it. So,
and then what is the communication process with parents about injuries, either in practice or in matches?
So it's just how it is with everything else. Some parents are more intimate with the relationship with me and everything going on here. Some people stay far away. If it's a severe injury, like, we'll kind of reach out and talk to them. This is a long-term thing. A lot of times the student athlete will do that, and I'm like, hey, like, if your parents want to reach out and talk, like, we're always going to put your best interest first. And if it's a really bad injury, like, you're going to be the one that decides, like, how we handle this.
Have you ever had a parent call you with suggestion that you play or not play a player?
I haven't yet, but knock on wood. I've been pretty fortunate there. The kids that we have on the team are great, and it's no surprise that they come from great families, and they also trust me, and they know that, okay, like, they're not getting these stories sent back home. We're like, oh, like, we're, my shoulder's falling off and he's not letting me stop. Like,
what is the priority and focus? So player, coach, trainer, injury happens. What's the pecking order of power where finally somebody can override and say they're done playing or they're good to play?
Yeah, I think it's the doctor. The doctor is the one that really decides. So if they have an injury, they go to the athletic trainer. If the athletic trainer thinks it needs to go to the doctor, then it'll go to the doctor. And then, once the doctor rules on it, then it's, it is what it is at that point.
That's the judge. Gavel down.
I would, as when I first started coaching and where I am now, I think my opinion on it has changed. I was like, no, like, we don't need to go to the doctor. You're fine. And now it's like, hey, let's go to the doctor. Let's make sure everything's handled. Everything's okay. If we need to get a scan, let's get it scanned. Let's get on top of it. I think, like, if you scan enough parts of your body, even if you're healthy, you'll probably find something wrong. But I think if there's an acute injury and something's bothering you, I think finding out as much information as you can and being able to come up with a plan and then making sure that, I think it builds a level of trust between you and the athlete as well. That, like, hey, like, he cares more than just about winning. He also cares about my long-term and short-term health.
Those are the goods, man. Those are the goods. Coach, before we let you go and get you out of here, it is a big bounce back opportunity for the football program.
Yeah.
How do you think this plays out, kind sir?
I think it plays out in our favor for sure. I think getting out to California, getting into some nice weather, letting it fly, letting the ball rip. We got a lot of, even though we didn't win last week, I think we played a really good game. We played a hell of a game. Those guys know it in there. Those guys believe it. Our time's coming. So I'm taking the Huskers this weekend again.
If your number one goes down and you have to slide everybody up, is that a rally point or is that a fear thing?
Rally point, maybe. Rally point. And that's what I expect from the guys this weekend. I think they're going to go out there and do that and keep the good momentum of this season riding.
7-3 doesn't sound bad. I'm just going to say.
Absolutely not.
Coach, thank you for always adding, teaching, coaching. We appreciate you. We'll do it again next week. Y'all, don't go anywhere. Adam Carricker, the big guys in the building. Take you up to 1 o'clock, and then Bach in the black shirt until 3 here on The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here, and I've got some great news for you. Kobelt Chevrolet GMC